you hope to start with the briefing. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to all the media houses and colleagues. The Electoral Commission is well prepared to receive over 51,000 registered voters for the by-elections in the Thabazimbi local municipality on Wednesday, 4 December 2020. By-elections in Thabazimbi come after the dissolution of the entire local municipality in August 2024, effectively rendering all ward seats and proportional representation seats vacant. The municipality consists of 12 wards and 57 voting districts, and therefore a by-election will occur in all 12 wards. There are a total of 24 seats for the municipality, of which 12 are ward seats and 12 are proportional representation seats. The Electoral Commission is further pleased to announce that all contracts and lease agreements for the 57 voting stations have been concluded. Furthermore, we have published the list of addresses of the 57 voting stations that will be used in this by-election. All these voting stations will open on Wednesday, 4 December 2024, from 700 hours a.m. to 2100 hours in the evening, to allow all registered voters in the area to cast their votes. The municipality's population is approximately 64,993 citizens with 51,399 registered voters. Among the registered voters, there are over 20,000 female registered, while close to 30,000 males are registered. This is actually the opposite for the province. Here, it's more males than females, maybe because it's a mining town. Significantly, more than 1,300 new voters aged 18 and 19 who did not participate in the 2024 general elections will also participate for the first time. The breakdown of the registered voters further indicates that the highest registered population came from Ward 5 with just over 6,000 voters, followed closely by Ward 8, registering 5,741 voters, and Ward 9 with 5,221. An essential part of our preparations involved interacting with a range of stakeholders, including political parties, independent candidates, security cluster and government agencies in the province, community organizations, key businesses, including the mining houses, and voters in the Thabazimbi municipal area. Through this interaction, we believe that elections will reflect the true will of Thabazimbi residents and that the election will be successfully conducted in a free and fair manner. Several civic and voter education activities have taken place in all 12 wards of the Thabazimbi municipality. The Electoral Commission's officials conducted the education session almost daily to reach over 51,000 registered voters. This is to ensure that community members are fully informed of the electoral processes and how and why should they exercise their democratic voting rights. Candidate nomination: a total of 405 candidates comprising 5 independent candidates and 400 political party candidates will contest the forthcoming by-elections. Of these, 214 are male candidates and 191 are female. Nominations of candidates closed on 11 November 2024, and that period was followed by the verification and objection processes. 2 independent candidates will be contesting in Ward 3, and the other 3 will be contesting in Wards 5, 7, and 8 respectively. The independents are aged between 34 and 54 years. In terms of those who might be interested in the gender split, For the PR ballot, the female make 85, which makes it around 52.15%, whereas the males make 163. My apology. The male makes 78, which makes it 47.85%, and the total count for PR is 163. For the wards, the female make 106, translating to 43.8%. The male make 136, translating to 56.2%, and the total is 242 for the wards, for only 12 seats in the wards. So the total candidates are 405. So we have 12 proportional representation vacancies that will be contested by 163 candidates, and 12 vacancies which will be contested by 242 candidates. In terms of the age categories for all these candidates, some young people are also contesting. Those aged between 20 to 29 are 53, 30 to 39, 121, 40 to 49, 125, 50 to 59, 68, and over 60 is 38. So any political party that wants to win election must campaign among the middle-aged persons aged between 30 to 49. The 21 political parties contesting these by-elections are as follows: African Congress for Transformation, African Heart Congress, African Independent Congress, African National Congress, African Transformation Movement, African Unemployment Congress, Bolsheviks Party, Defenders of African Dignity, Defenders of the People, Democratic Alliance, Economic Freedom Fighters, Inkatha Freedom Party, Labour Party of South Africa, Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, Patriotic Alliance, Thabazimbi Forum for Sales Delivery, Thabazimbi Residents Association, Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, United Democratic Movement, United Resident Party, and Freehand Front Plus. The ballot papers in preparation for this election, the Commission has printed about 108,200 ballot papers, both ward and PR. It is worth noting that for these by-elections, voters will receive 2 ballots. The 2 ballot papers are the ward as well as the local council proportional representation. Training of voting station officials. In terms of the necessary capacity, the Electoral Commission has begun training 349 electoral personnel who will oversee the electoral process at all voting locations. The training for all electoral personnel will be completed on the 29th of November 2024. A total of 57 presiding officers have been appointed, and their names were submitted to the political parties as well as all politicians, including independent candidates, running in the elections on 18 November 2024 for vetting, and no objections were received. Special votes, applications for special votes, home visits and voting station visits opened on 18 November 2024 and closed on the 22nd of November 2024. Of the 4,747 approved applications, 665 are home visits and 4,082 are special votes that will be carried out at the voting stations. Home visits are intended for those voters who are unable to travel to voting stations, while special votes at voting stations are for registered citizens who are unable to visit their voting station on by-election day. Special votes at voting station and special home visits will be conducted on 3 December 2024 between the hours 800 hours and 1700 hours. After the casting of special votes, ballots in their double envelopes will be transported to a secure place to protect the secrecy of the vote. All such special votes are first placed in an unmarked envelope, which is then inserted into a second envelope marked with the voting station and voters' particulars for verification on the list of approved special votes. Counting of all votes. The counting of all ballots, including special votes and those cast on voting day, will take place after voting concludes at 2100 hour on 4 December 2024, with representatives from parties and contestants present. The result is produced for each ballot at the voting station. This result is co-signed by the representatives of political parties and independents for correct recording of the count at that voting station. This result document is relied on for the processing of results to seats allocation. After the counting process, the Commission will allocate the seats. For the allocation of seats, we'll apply the proportional representation for the local council and majoritarian winner takes all for the wards. In conclusion, to promote transparency in the voting process, the Electoral Commission is establishing a mini results operation center, abbreviated as the ROC, at the Thabazimbi Municipal Council Chamber, and we have since moved it to a hall called Bioscope Hall around this town of Thabazimbi, where the management of these by-elections will take place. The result centers are there for political party representatives and independents to monitor the voting, counting, and results process. Parties and independents have the opportunity to raise objections to any alleged, if any, irregularity. The Electoral Commission is confident that all arrangements have been concluded for conducting free and fair elections in the region, including the logistic and the procurement of voting supply for each voting station. Finally, we encourage all registered voters in Thabazimbi local municipality to turn out in large numbers to cast their votes on Wednesday, 4 December 2024. Those who have requested a home visit should remain at home and await our officials on the day of special votes. We appeal to employers, businesses, and mining companies in the region to give registered voters the opportunity to go and vote. Additionally, we encourage candidates to approach the forthcoming elections peacefully and with composure by following the Electoral Code of Conduct. An important reminder to voters is that they may only vote at a voting station at which they are registered. It is a criminal offense for voters to register and vote in a ward in which they are not residents. Voters are further reminded to bring their identity documents with them, either a green barcoded ID book, a smart card ID, or a valid temporary ID certificate to be able to vote. So let the best candidate and party win the elections. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, PO, for the briefing. We'll now open the floor for questions and answers. So we'll do this through show of hands. You'll tell us who you are, which media house you come from, and then pose your questions. Can we see through show of hands if there are questions? Members of the media? I see the first hand there.
Good day, Father, do we have any political party or any candidate who was rejected maybe to contest this by-elections because of Senate?
Because of?
Any political party that wanted to contest and maybe to fail to meet the requirements?
Okay, yes. Okay.
Do we have any other question? All right.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Oge Chomodao from SABC News. Now, the question that I want to ask is that in other, by-elections, we saw political parties accused of, sort of getting people from other wards to register for elections in that contesting ward. So, did we perhaps experience such a challenge? And if so, how did you deal with it, or how did you prevent it from occurring? Thank you.
All right, we have two questions. Is that all members of the media? Going once, twice? Okay, I'll hand over to the PO to answer the questions. PO?
Well, thank you very much. In terms of political parties that wanted to contest the elections, IEC processed them in good time. They respected the closing time on the last day of candidate nomination. However, there are candidates that come from political parties that were disqualified. One of the reasons is because such a person was not registered in the Thabazimbi area. Some of them were registered elsewhere. Some of them never registered at all. They wanted to become a candidate when they are not registered anywhere in the Republic of South Africa. So you can't stand for elections if you are not a resident of Thabazimbi. In terms of busing of voters, because this is a wall-to-wall by-election, I don't think there is any reason for somebody to move people from one ward to the next, otherwise they are going to lose that particular ward. Where we are faced with such a situation, we normally deal with it on the spot because we do not want to wait. We do investigations. I think there were 2 or 3 of such cases where some people were trying to register here when their place of residence is next door in Lephalale municipality and maybe to some extent even in Belabela municipality. So we dealt with them. They were removed from the voters' roll because most of this happen online, and fortunately we have a system of verifying all online activities. So the commission then agreed that such people should be removed and they should not participate. It's only the residents of Thabazimbi who will influence who becomes a councillor in Thabazimbi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, PO. Do we have additional questions?
Yes, I have questions from online platform. There is a question raised by Clifford from Jacaranda FM. His question is, how many people registered to vote in this by-election? How many people have registered to vote in this by-election? I think that's the only question that we have online.
Okay.
All right. I'll hand over to the PO to answer, unless if we have any other question on the floor.
Well, thank you very much. Thabazimbi is a small municipality. The registration population is just around 51,000 with only 12 wards. So we are hopeful that the majority, if not all of these people, will participate in this by-election. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks, PO. Colleagues, do we have any other questions? In the absence of any other questions, even online, we don't have anything online. We are sorted to be online. Thank you so much for attending this briefing. Of course, we'll have additional meetings.